Today, I am getting together with my friend, Sergey
Sevantsyan.
Sevantsyan. Did I say it right?
Okay. Sevantsyan.
Sevantsyan.
No, Sevantsyan. Yes. It's Armenian surname. I'm not Russian, as you can imagine. Yes. I have, when people asking me, Sergey, when are you from? Yes, I have a couple of words. I'm a bit Greek. I'm a bit Armenian, as well as Russian and Ukrainian. And maybe I become American. I don't know.
Okay. You still have that hope to come to New York?
Yes. I've been in New York so much, multiple times, but now I can't. In May, it's not a Congress, it's every year we have one big event by blockchain industry in New York.
Consensus?
Consensus.
Yes. I don't know what they'll do with Consensus this year.
Yeah. Yes.
We did meet in Malta. Our mutual friend Elena introduced us. You were a keynote speaker at a conference
there. Yes,
there.
I've been a keynote speaker at this moment, yes. And we are, at that moment, I'm spreading information because about new ideology of economics. Now, to be frank, we clearly understand that economical situation, as I say, fiat industry is already damaged, it is crashed. As in crypto community says, maybe it's a big scam in our theory, in our industry, because what we see, the money printed, yes, it can be helpful for the people which are now out of the situation and which are looking for money just for clothes, just have a leave. But when you're looking for the economy in a global, for the people which are making business, we're talking about small businesses, we're talking about just middle kind of businesses or family offices, for them it's really very critical, because when are they coming out, when I'm turning off this industry, they are really losing everything which are they gained through 10 years, through 15 years. It's really very sad to understand that just one thing, just one virus can do this kind of boom. I want to say this is market goes down just in a moment. Yes, maybe it's been a bubble. Maybe I don't say that it's not been, or I don't want to say that it's not happened or not exist. It's maybe gonna be, but not in this way, because when it's coming out in a moment and it's coming out in a danger from the health all the people around, yes, it's very sad to understand. I really have a huge hope that we are, as humanity, coming out of the situation with much more healthier and with good understanding that we are maybe trying to do something change in our hearts, in our ideology, and in dealing with each other, maybe in communication as well.
We can have hope that we will come out of this better.
Yes.
But we have to be intentional about it. We have to choose that we will be better and take steps to be better.
Yes.
So that's why I was so excited to see your news feed on Facebook, Sergey, because at the same time I started to do this in the United States, I started seeing these feeds of you doing something similar in Russia, in Moscow, and I was very curious about that. And I thought, I'm going to have to get in touch with you. And
yes,
then
sure. I want to have a couple of words about what do we do. Really, people around me, it's not so huge community. It's about 500 people around, and we are professionals. For example, in fintech, in IT industry, we are good programmers, we are good project managers, we are entrepreneurs, have a huge community inside of us. We are also blockchainers as well, blockchain evangelists, Bitcoin evangelists, and we are, when we are at home, we clearly understand that this new kind of technology can be used in a difficult situation, and this situation is coming now, and it's maybe just a tool. Yes, I can't say that can be helpful for coming out of this difficult situation, but it's maybe tool, because when economic goes down, when economic is not understandable around, and when you are looking for any, I don't know, any exit or any alternative in this world, how to operate with each other at this moment, cryptocurrencies maybe can be somehow helpful as well. Entrepreneurs looking for trying to migrate their business from offline to online as well. They are trying to do their services. They're trying to find out the way how to communicate people, how to reach them in this difficult situation, how to reach them via internet. You know, I'm really get excited that this situation, that this pandemic now attracting, they're communicating people around the internet. And now, as you can see, the traffic of internet arises at least at 200 times. And now communication sphere is really valuable and really helpful for the people. I'm sure, I want to understand that corporates, that governments don't stop us to communicate, don't make a lot of firewalls, and give us opportunity to stable as humans, because this is really thankful things.
That's important. The more that we can understand that this is affecting us globally, all around the world, the more that we can come together as humans and connect on ideology and a positive hope for the future, rather than divisive things and maybe sometimes the skepticism we have about each other. I think that it's very positive. I've been working with people in many countries and cultures and faiths and languages online now for years, and I think it's awesome. It makes me feel like I'm part of, like you said, the broader humanity, and not just this little person sitting in my little town. I love it. I hope more and more people get to experience the joy of getting to know people who might speak a different language, come from a different culture, have a different worldview, maybe a different age or a different level of education. It's great.
Yes, for sure. Because when you are not feeling alone, when you are engaged in a lot of communities, in work, in something else, you know, you are feeling that you are needful for each other. It's very good feeling. And for example, I know you personally, Elizabeth. I know that you are not going to lie to me. I can believe you. I already have that any kind of feelings that is the people which I know personally, and we are now in communication, trying to find out the right way to have an opportunity to feel in much more better. You know, I'm sure that after this event, after all of this communication, people at their homes feel much more better than they can't any be in communication. It's really opportunity to be out of the feelings and trying to make it, I don't know, trying to make it just happy, just maybe not so much, just out of anxiety, and has a little bit happy.
And when you said you know me personally, I once did a presentation about online communities. And I walked out in a Guy Fawkes mask and I said, you know, we hide behind these avatars, don't we, sometimes? And sometimes we think that if we put a smiley face or an LOL or a like or a heart, that we're communicating with people, and to a degree we are. But I really prefer, when I'm going to do business with someone, or I'm going to work on a project, or have a communication about something that's relevant, I almost always insist on a Zoom call.
Yeah.
Because
community. Yes, it's good way
it's not person to person, but it's eyeball to eyeball.
Yes. I want to say that.
Yes, and we can learn more about each other. Now, we can learn on forum posts who the bullies are. We can learn on Twitter who the bullies are. And so we can know a little bit more like that. But when we actually want to collaborate, when we want to work together, it's amazing how much we can actually do with people on the other side of the world.
Yes. When you can say a few months ago, I don't believe that this type of communication exists, or it can be late much more, I don't know, in a few months. But now at this moment, when we are in a closer space, when we can't be out and can feel that communication, this is the right way to be very close to each other. That's why, thank you for the opportunity for being here. Thanks me, and you are also being invited in my event. I think you also feel that kind of magic within the community, which are communicating, which are making through communication and through, I don't know, collaboration, and trying to make some kind of new deal and ideology around. Thanks
I
a lot.
can't wait to join you tomorrow, but somebody better have a translator for me, right?
No problem. You don't feel about that. It's no problem.
You know, I wanted to ask you a little bit about your daily life there in Moscow. Here, it's pretty serious. People are losing their jobs, people are dying. Now, some people are questioning whether it's real.
You're talking about New York City?
I live about 3 hours away from New York City.
Uh-huh.
So, but we're in the people all around me are getting sick, right?
Wow.
We need to be in our homes all the time unless we wear a mask and only go out for essential things.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even go out. I have my groceries delivered and I stay home. But that's okay because look, I have all my online friends.
You know, the same thing has happened here. There is the same thing happens. I'm sure that the same thing happens everywhere. Maybe in one place a little bit earlier, and maybe one place a little bit later, but it's the same. We are in the same situation. I want to mention that. In Moscow, there is no problem to coming out, but there is so much people there. There is not so much people, just few people just walking down the streets, and they are going for groceries, and they're going, for example, like me, to bankomats, to putting money or turning off the money just for making some kind of shoppings and have a life, just have a life. That's why now the transportation is not so close, but it's on the highest risk of pandemic here. We are not coming out of the situation. We are not just going slowly. We are going on a high.
You're going up. So there's a high rate of people getting sick and dying?
Yes. I don't see so much dying people here in Moscow. I have already two closest people to me. It's not my friends, but it's friends of friends mine. Friends of the mind friends, but it's very sad to understand, but because it can be caused to each and everyone, because they are, one of them is 34 years old and another one is 41.
I'm so sorry.
Yes. It's really too. I'm really scared. I am father of the 3 children. We are the family. I'm living with my wife here, and it's really scared because when one of us just gets sick, it's connected to each other, and it's going to be in a moment. Yes, that's why I know how to interact with this, how to deal with this. I really don't imagine that's the only way at this moment is get rid of that virus, stay at home, and trying to not communicate with others. I think I want to believe that social distancing, which are now appears, is go after this all, because it's good opportunity. It's good way to communicate. Yes, when you are just close to each other, it's good way. But I think if you can somehow be in communication via internet or via virtual way or via something else, I think we have to attract this, and we have to understand that this is already, and this is also some kind and good way to communication. Yes, we have to learn how to use computers, how to learn internet, how to use this Zoom and something else. I think is the good way. Is the good way to be much more closer to the technologies. That the way in that case going to close to viruses or some dangerous thing. I think it's my opinion.
I agree with you. Isolation is actually very hard for many people, most people actually. And now it's compounded by fear.
Really fear, yes. When you see that someone in your close friends are dying, fear is in front of your eyes. And it's really very, very scary. Everyone becomes very scary, really.
I believe we all have a story, and it is good for us to share our stories. That's why I'm doing this. And I'm happy that you can come and share your story. Sergey, what about your children in school? They've shut the schools down in Moscow?
No, they don't go to school now at this moment, but we have good news. What kind of news? Now all the schools around the globe, I'm sure, that they don't believe that they can go online. And now this already happens. You know, my children, first week when they isolate, when they're going to be in isolation and trying to learn something new from the internet with their teachers, trying to understand how it works. It's not so easy for the small children, for the, you know, for children's 7 or 8 years old. My daughter, she is 14, but she clearly understands how it works. But teachers don't. It's really sad to understand, but they are in IT school. But at this moment, what we have, and now I see that my children wanna choose between the teachers. They have opportunities. Yes, they don't want to deal with this one. They wanna, and for them is another people is very attractive, and they are teaching in the way, and the teaching on the way that for them is much more understandable and it's much more easier. Yes, on that opportunity, on that way, a lot of teachers lose their job. I clearly understand that, but you know, this scholarship, this going to school every day at 8:30 when you want to sleep, when you can't understand what's going on around, when you're sitting on a table, when you're listening something, it's really old school. And this is the trigger for change it, and we have to use it finally, because I think it's, you know, it's the best way to communication, is the best way to know, is the best way to attract the knowledge. I think we have to use it. It's just step for understanding that maybe this is much more better case than being, I don't know, for example, 50 or 100 years ago.
50 or 100 years ago, like in 1918, when the Spanish flu epidemic went around, we didn't have the ability to reach out and talk to each other. That must have been a very sad time, and maybe even more frightening when we couldn't have that community around us to encourage, because we're humans, but some of us have a bad day and the rest of us can kind of cheer each other up. And then the other person has a day full of fear and anxiety and the rest can rally behind. So the economy over there, how is it going? Here we're losing jobs and things look pretty grim.
You know, everyone here clearly understands that they already losing all of their jobs, but much more works. They are clearly understand that they are losing their businesses as well.
Yes.
It's much more worse, because when you are just losing the job, you have opportunity for find out another one. But when you lose a lot of businesses and you are clearly not understand who is open, who can do anything, this is, I know, is the situation when just, I don't know, bomb is coming out, everything is disappears, and you have to start from something, from the real zero. I'm talking about work, I'm talking about groceries, I'm talking about find out the jobs, food, something else. It's really worse situation. I clearly understand that America, United States has, for example, they just have opportunity to printing money. It's maybe some kind of you know, being helpful for people, and to say them, look, we have just this kind of papers, use it for your need. But here in Russia, we can't do even this time, because our economy is based on a US economy, dollar, and when you haven't dollar, you haven't anything, really. That's why we lose everything here. Russia is in a worse situation.
That is terrible. And the money that they are printing here is sadly not going to all of the people who need it most. But that's another discussion.
Yes.
Right? So how do the people there feel about this? Are people just depressed, or are they angry? How are people thinking right now?
At this moment, they are, I think, much more angry. They don't depress so yet, because when starting depression, the angriest coming out on the streets.
Is it?
Yes.
Are there riots and protests?
Not yet, and it's good. It's really good. I think that nutshell, I can say that governments are so smart, and they are so smart and so clever to understand how to help the people around. You know, all of us now. I am personally clearly understand that governments and the people which are living above us and making governments to all of this. First of all, they are looking only in their pocket. First of all, they are only just around them, and they are really don't care about what's going inside towns, what's going with small business, going with people. I think they are looking for, okay, it's just a situation when they are have to survive somehow, and they are really don't care about that. That's why, when are you living in a rich or healthy or wealthy country, it's much more easier to go through this virus, go through this pandemic, when you're living in a poor country, when there is no opportunities, there is no environment around. You can't do anything. You already don't have instruments. It's very difficult. That's why I am even here in Moscow.
One thing that might be important for your friends there to understand about what's going on here is, how do I want to say this? Many times I think the impression that people get in the world about what's going on in America is through media and movies and the good stuff. There is, though, a greater and greater difference between the people who have enough and the people who don't. And most people, 80% of people in America did not have enough in their savings account to last for 1 month.
Wow.
That's something that isn't so known. And the United States did print some money and released a bill to put some of this money in people's pockets. But the small business money has already run out, and most small businesses did not get the money. Bigger businesses got it. And most of the very, very poor people are not going to be able to get the money. It's not showing up in their banks. So, and the other thing is, some of the very poorest among us don't live in a way that keeps them healthy, and they are getting very, very sick quicker. And it's very sad. It reveals a lot about what's really going on that sometimes I think we can forget about, because the stories around us want to paint a really good picture of beautiful, healthy people. So just so you know that it's very troublesome here too.
I see. In this way, the storytelling to each other is, comes for us much more understandable to each other, and a little bit close, and don't making some imagination about, wow, that country is great, or another country is so bad and sick. I think this type of communication is this type, what do you do in your togethering, is really gives us real world and real understanding what's going on around between us, between the people.
We are all people. And this virus is not going to respect whether I live here and you live there, or how much we have or don't have. It is not a respecter of persons. It is definitely something that is going to make us all seem a little bit equal.
Yeah.
I think in our fears and our anxieties and our ability to catch it, we all have that talent. Is there anything else you'd like to share with my friends from your friends?
All the words in English coming out of our mind at this moment. I'm sorry, really. When I'm talking a little much more, I don't know how, but it disappears words from my mind. Maybe on the meeting tomorrow, I've been a little bit more prepared for sharing some kind of story with you and with you.
Oh, you did wonderful. And I love it when people come on and they bring an accent or a language ability from all around the world, because that is the true revealer that we live and walk in different places. And we're all coming together. We are different. It's okay.
Yes, it's okay. It's not okay. It's very good.
Yes.
When people different, they have to live. Have abilities to teach them, to know from each other, and maybe to looks like on a different ways. When we are being some the same, there is no interesting. There is no interest becoming out of them. That's why it's very interesting. We have to have abilities to understand each other. We have to have abilities to be tolerance. Actually, what I see and the best value for the people, that they are able to share their stories around, and they are able to be listened, and they are able to be as well communicated. It is the good opportunity. It's just a coming out of the stress about what they are thinking when I become alone in their homes. I think
Yes.
this is good opportunity.
Yes, and I really, really hope that everybody finds a way to stay connected somehow. Really.
Together, we can do all togethering.
We can do all together, and can't wait to talk to you tomorrow. Sergey, before we leave, could we have a moment of silence to think about how serious this situation is for us all around the world?
Yeah.
Togethering, because we will get through this better when we get through it together. Thank you, Sergey.
Thank you. Thank you, Elizabeth.